I'm thankful for this opportunity to be here with you. Isn't this fun? It's good to be together. I thank Charmaine for that opportunity. It's so great to support her and work with her and to help her out in any way she wants. And I know she'll have your support too, and great things are going to happen. Because like you and like I, she knows it's all about the love. She knows that it's a church that celebrates the good news of kindness and respect and fairness that brought her back to Christian community. And so we do give thanks. Please pray with me, Spirit of wisdom, of encouragement, of caution, of inspiration. Minister to us, your people, we pray. May only truth be spoken. May only truth be heard, we ask. Amen. Joseph's brothers didn't know him, but Joseph remembered the dreams of his childhood. I'm talking about dreams today, not necessarily the literal dreams we dream at night, although they are often very connected to our dreams, our longings, our deep desire to love and to be loved, our desire to have a meaningful life, to know that we have shared in the creative process of our divinity and helping someone, helping something. And if we're spiritually healthy, we never stop dreaming. And like Joseph, we remember the dreams of our childhood. A dream came true just this past week for Ikiluak Avalak, a young man of 18 years of age who brought home Nunavut's first ever gold medal from the Canadian Summer Games. And the Canadian Games get to determine who represents Canada in the Olympics. They're a big deal. And Kiluak won a gold medal in wrestling. And like perhaps many of us, his dream had been forged in the fires of pain and loss. There was a time when he lost that dream, when his brother he was so close to, younger than him, took his life. But his dream was strengthened by his community supporting him, by his community believing in him. And his dream was strengthened when he saw that his dream was not just about himself, that his dream could be about his brother, that he would work to win that medal for his brother's honor. His dream came true, and his first words when interviewed, right after the win, were, "I just want to say one thing. It's a happy belated birthday to a special person up in heaven. This is for you. I know you're watching over me. I love you, brother." And then he said, "It feels great. History has been made. I couldn't have done it without those around me." That's how dreams come true. Often forged in the furnace of struggle and pain, supported by others when we lose hope. And then when we see our dream not so much as a personal accomplishment, but as something that can be a gift to others. Well, we all had dreams when we were kids. Some of them were exciting. Childhood dreams of fame, of being a success, a rock and roll hero, an architect, an electrician, a nurse, a doctor, software designer. So many dreams, so many choices. Joseph loved his dreams. Well, you know, Joseph loved everything about himself. Joseph was all that and more, don't you know? And he was happy to tell his other brothers all about his dreams, how the members of the family appeared in his dream as sheaves of wheat, or we could say bales of hay. And all of a sudden, his bale of hay became very big, and the other family members bowed down to him. How'd you like your sibling telling you that all the time? It didn't go over that well with his brothers. But Joseph had plenty of dreams to tell his family. Hey, Dad, you know, I had a dream last night. Oh, all the family was in it. Dad, you were the sun, and Mom, you were the moon, and you brothers, you were the stars, and you all bowed to me. Even his dad didn't particularly care for that dream. What makes people feel that they're better than others? Maybe we all do sometimes. But what makes someone totally self-absorbed narcissist like Joseph was as a kid? Research indicates that for half it's insecurity. It's just a cover for deep down not feeling we're good enough, that we fit, that people really care about us or like us. And so you brag and brag and brag to try to impress others when you're just covering up for a hole in your own self-esteem. Maybe Joseph, being the youngest at the time, felt belittled by his brothers, ignored, ridiculed, bullied. Maybe they were popular and he wasn't. Maybe he was always left out. I was the youngest child. All my siblings were 10 to 15 years older than me, and I didn't get to do all the cool things they did. They didn't want me hanging around. But research also indicates that some children just grow up feeling entitled to special treatment. They actually think they're better than other people and deserve more. And having a father who favored Joseph over all the others, there's terrible parenting for you. Having a father like that didn't help Joseph any. And he also liked tattletaling on his brothers, too. Maybe Joseph just thought that he was better than everybody else. Now, here's the irony. Joseph felt he was special. And it turns out that in the end, he was special. But he wasn't special in the way he thought he was going to be when he was young. His early dreams were all about his ego, his family bowing to him. But in the end, what made Joseph special was his ability to do for others, to save the lives of his family, to save the lives of his people. His ego interpretation of the divine dream almost got him killed. His brothers grew to hate him so much they planned to kill him. And then Reuben, the oldest, the oldest is often the most responsible. Reuben convinced them, don't kill your brother. Let's just sell him as a slave, and then we'll tell Dad that he got attacked by a lion and died. Joseph must have cried bitterly at his stupid dreams when he was led in chains to Egypt as a slave. He was the one who would be doing the bowing. Friends, this is such a key feature of life. Moments and events where the bottom of our lives just falls out and we find ourselves down in the well. Where our dreams just go up in smoke. Sometimes for no good reason, sometimes terrible, horrible luck hits us. And there's a death, there's an accident. At other times, our comeuppance is inevitable because of our own lousy conduct and attitude and addictions. And sometimes it's because people in our lives who should care about us and love us, they betray us. They hurt us. They sell us as slaves to their control and to their desires. And often in life, friends, and most of you probably know this by now, given our ages, things often get worse before they get better. And there's moments, and maybe you're in one of them right now, where some dream you had, something you were looking forward to so much, something that was going to add so much to your life, just blew up. And you're in that well. You can't even remember that dream. The pain's too great. But Joseph, as he starts to recover, he starts to build some spiritual muscle. And he finds himself put in a general's home to take care of the household. And he begins to learn how to put one foot in front of the other and to do his best. And he learns how to be a true servant, like a good butler anticipating the needs of the household before anybody even asks him what to do. And he finds favor in his boss's eyes. His boss's wife takes a liking to him and puts the moves on him. But he keeps his integrity, and he says no. And then she gets angry and says that he assaulted her, and all of a sudden he's in prison again. See what I mean about how things can go from bad to worse? What losses have taken a toll on you? How are we feeling today about our best dreams and desires? Sometimes it feels like the door of heaven is shut. We can't beg, borrow, or steal a blessing. But Joseph was building spiritual muscle, and he realized he couldn't change the things that were happening to him. The only thing he could do was manage his response. And so he just kept trying. In prison, he kept trying, making friends with the other prisoners, trying to help the warden, trying to help the king. There were other setbacks he was forgotten about for years. They threw away the key. But he learned to focus on what he could do, one step in front of the other, trying to make friends and be helpful day after day. And that's why we need each other. That's why we need strong spiritual communities of compassion and support. Because life can smash us and smash our dreams by accident, by mistakes we've made, and by evil things that humans do. Kelouac didn't give up on the dream he shared with his brother when his brother died, although he sore thought about it. Instead, he made his dream about something other than winning gold for himself. He made his dream bigger than himself. His dream became about winning gold for others, for his brother, for his people. Our greatest dreams in life are always about accomplishing more than personal gain. Always about accomplishing something that matters for others as well as ourselves. There are no great personal dreams, no great personal accomplishments. All great dreams are empowered by the God of life and love. For life and love, and being empowered by love, and by living the way of respect, and striving for fairness, and determination to be kind, and doing that with the help of others, that's how dreams come true. And all great dreams are made possible by a team of loving friends, supportive community, a caring church, the mentors the Spirit sent into our lives. The wrestler said, "I thank all those around me for their support." And all great dreams, if ever, come to completion in the ways we thought they would and in the time we expected. It's a rare thing when our dreams come true the way we think they were going to come true. And it's a rare thing when any of our dreams come true in the time period we thought they'd come true. Joseph had long forgotten his foolish dreams of superiority. He learned to live in the real world, and he focused on being the best he could and helping those around him. And the good news is that no one ever walks away from serving others and loving this world and caring. Nobody ever walks away from doing that with an empty heart or an empty hand. God is in the business of multiplying our love, our service, our kindness to the strengthening community and the salvation of the world. Life is not about our ability and capacity. We spend so much time worrying about our ability, our capacity. Can we do it? Are we good enough? Life's not about your ability and capacity. Life is about your availability. Putting what you have in motion. Being that person that you've been created to be. Being that best person. Sharing it in the ways that life provides you the opportunity to share it. Our true dreams are not about ability and capacity. Our great dreams are about our availability. Being available to live a life of the Spirit, a life of awareness, of building good relationships, of caring for community, of helping to end some suffering in the world. This makes our dreams come true in ways we cannot imagine. And so in our story today, surprise, surprise, Joseph isn't in prison anymore. He's Prime Minister of Egypt, serving the king. Hasn't it been great when some of your dreams came true like that? I was down east. Got to visit all my family. Because the estrangement that had existed for 30 years is gone. Never could have figured that one out. Joseph has become prime minister. He saved Egypt from famine. And now his brothers are kneeling before him, begging him to sell them grain. What would we do if we were Joseph? They don't remember him, but he knows them. And what they did to him comes flashing back. What an opportunity for revenge. What an opportunity to teach them a lesson. And it sounds for a little bit in the text like that's what he's doing. But that's not what he chooses to do. Now, maybe he could have just not acknowledged them and just told them to get lost. It's easy to turn the other way sometimes and not do for somebody what we could do fairly easily, but we harbor a grudge. Maybe Joseph decides, yeah, I want to get even, makes them slaves. That would seem just, an eye for an eye. But Joseph couldn't have done that given all the spiritual muscle he'd developed over the years. He was too deep in spirit to do the revenge thing. Now, he could have told the officials, yeah, sell them the grain and send them on their way without even acknowledging them. And you know, that would have been an amazing thing. That would have been righteous and well worth a sermon illustration of generosity of spirit and forgiveness. Here they were going to kill him. They sold him into slavery. All he went through because of them, well, he'll give them the food, but good riddance, just take the food. That's good, but that's it. But God is able to do in our lives more than we can ask or imagine. Joseph remembers the dreams of his childhood. He remembered the dreams he had set aside, but here his brothers were bowing before him. They didn't know him, but they were bowing, and he remembers those dreams. Totally unexpectedly, the dreams came true, but not in the way he imagined as a child. God made them come through not to aggrandize Joseph, but to enable him to save his family and to save his people. How incredible. It's funny how life works out for those who work at love. So he remembers the dreams of his child. He realizes maybe there can be reconciliation here. He's in a position of power. He's not threatened by them anymore. Maybe I can mess with them a bit here and see if they'll take responsibility for what they've done. Maybe they'll acknowledge what they did, their willingness to kill him, their decision to sell him as a slave. So he plays with them. He keeps a hostage, requiring the others to bring the youngest brother back, who had never seen. The one Joseph wanted to see, seeing the whole family together. And then he set that boy up to be arrested so the father would have to come. And the brothers, without knowing it's Joseph, it's working. They are remembering what they did to Joseph. They make a connection to Joseph. They're feeling guilt. They're feeling empathy. The beginning of taking responsibility for themselves. And then Joseph reveals who he is. And there's forgiveness all around, and reconciliation begins. And these miracles happen in our lives, and friends, they're happening all around us. And really, the great point of church and spirituality, other than community, is to be aware of what God is doing in the world, because you'll never see that through the news. When the settlers came to Canada, the indigenous people knew that they would have to make accommodation with us, and so they made treaties. And one of the things all across Canada they put in their treaties is, they said, we want you, as part of the treaty, to share the education and knowledge that you have with us and our children. Pretty smart. On July 17th, 1849, on a field 30 kilometers southwest of London, that dream was alive and well. Indigenous leaders from across Canada, along with church leaders and government representatives, including Reverend Egerton Ryerson, laid the cornerstone of Mount Elgin Industrial Institute. The indigenous people provided the land, and the agreement was they would pay 1/4 of the cost. And the agreement was that the principal of the school would be Native, and that the school would include indigenous and settler teachings. But less than 10 years after that agreement was signed, the dream went up in smoke. The chief they had expected to be the principal died, and before he could start, a white man was chosen by the church. The lesson plans were changed to be English only, and we know the rest of that horrific story. All the time was spent working in the fields and learning Christianity, not learning to read, write, and arithmetic. The dream became the nightmare we call residential schools. But Canada's indigenous people, like Joseph, did everything they could. They employed lawyers to challenge the courts. And so the federal government made a law that they could not employ a lawyer unless the government agent gave them permission. And of course, they were not given permission to challenge the lawyers. And then they said, well, let's use our numbers to get someone elected who will represent us in Parliament. And so the vote was taken away from them. Like Joseph. Just kept falling worse and worse and worse. But what they did not give up was the temptation to use violence, and they did not give up on the dream. The dream. And today we see a rising nation of indigenous peoples overcoming generations of trauma, becoming more educated, learning their languages again, winning court challenges, owning significant businesses such as a pipeline in the west and Clearwater, the largest seafood company in Canada in the east. And today, Canada's Governor General and Supreme Court Justice and the Moderator of the United Church are all indigenous. And the Kiluiq has brought home Nunavut's first gold medal. Who could have imagined? Canada's Native people are once again remembering the dreams of their youth with renewed hope. So friends, anything good is possible. Our wounds can be healed. We can pick ourselves up with God's help and the help of others to live a satisfying and meaningful life. Remember the dreams of your youth and treat and trust that our best dreams can come true. For in the worst of times and in the best of times, the divine dream weaver is with us and in us and works through us. We are not alone.